Oh boy, I can't do this. Hello to myself in the future. I don't have an audience or a following or anyone who cares about this particular facet of my life. So I'm just gonna address this video directly to myself, but be informational enough to where if anyone wants to care, then it will be accessible. I'm going to talk to the mic and to the camera as if I am talking to someone. I am talking to an audience. So with that, I will say it's been a very, very long time since I've made videos and since I've been interested in making videos and even thought about making videos. Well, yeah. Recently, I've been enjoying documenting things physically, but also like everyone backs up photos and stuff. I like taking photos of events or things in my life, no matter how small, insignificant or whatever. I just like to have something that reminds me of it because I don't remember a lot of things, or I choose subconsciously to forget a lot of things, especially if they're not satisfactory. So this video I want to be addressed to me. Maybe it has some lessons or experience that other people might find interesting, but mainly me, so I can look back in another 4 years and see who I was, because I want to remember this. The last video that I actually spent any decent amount of effort on was the Ben and Mac Hardcore Survival Episode 3. Even the Brisbane vlog, that was 3 years ago, that's in front of that. That was just finishing it and then releasing it so I could feel good about not having that on the back burner. But like, actively filming a video, recording it, doing all that. Ben and Mac Survival, yeah. 4 years. I actually didn't know it's been that long. I didn't know it has... I don't know it has... I'm learning Japanese, so I'm getting confused in English now. Okay, where have I been? So, when I did Ben and Mac Survival... Let's have a look. I've just got it up on my screen. I think I was in... I think at that point... Okay, so... Those videos were literally the last, I think, I did before I moved from my hometown, Rockhampton, Queensland, Australia, to Brisbane. So, which basically means I haven't, besides another off project when I got ambitious once, I don't count it. I haven't actively put in effort and wanted to do videos, even just for this channel or anything, the entire time that I've lived in Brisbane and created a life for 4 years. So basically, I was still in my hometown, Rockhampton, and something changed. I was 20... I think I was 21, and it was at the end of 2021 that something in me changed. I still don't really remember how it sort of spiraled, but I know now what it was. Essentially, I had a mental breakdown. A complete mental breakdown, identity crisis. Complete, like, destroying life kind of situation. The entire thing was all in my head. It was all me. And I'm not saying it was my fault I got that bad, but unintentionally, it was my fault. But it was because I didn't know about a few things. I don't know about a lot of things to this day. I still, even after everything I've learned, I still don't know about a lot of things. But back then, I had spent a year living with a roommate for the very first time in my life when I was 21. My parents had left for another town. I stayed behind because they were still paying for the house that we had there growing up. I was still in my childhood home at 21. And I had just spent an entire year without my parents for the first time ever in my entire life. And I think that happening may have contributed to the breakdown, because the way I see it, I spent an entire year not having my parents as a blanket to fall on at every moment. Every single moment of my life, I had nothing. So I suddenly had nothing, which is what it felt like. I didn't know that at the time. In fact, that was after being a teenager. Being a young adult, I was more happy and excited to live on my own and be my own person and do what I want. And I had no idea how much my only safety net moving away from me was going to affect me. I'm just gonna say it point blank, and I don't care how embarrassing it is at this point. I'm just gonna say it. Like, I spent that whole year, and then I watched Spider-Man Far From Home with my friends at the cinema when it came out. Far From Home? No Way Home. With all three Spider-Men, and like the hype around that was obvious. To me specifically, I just remember being so unbelievably emotional during that movie that it actively changed my DNA. I swear. I cried or just felt so much emotional tension after watching that. That is the first time I noticed something was wrong. Back then. Ever since watching that movie, I began to spiral. I began to decline. I began to have depression. I began to think about deep topics, about things I've never ever even chosen to focus on before. And suddenly one day I was driving down to Coffs Harbour, which is about a 13-hour drive from Rockhampton to Coffs Harbour, to finally see my parents after a whole year. And one thought popped into my head that scared me. And it was about, I'm not gonna say exactly what it was, but it was about me and scared of who I might become or what I might do. It terrified me that much that and this was the day of me driving down to Coffs Harbour, so I just started driving and this thought popped in. I had an extremely strong coffee, which did not help my anxiety and probably solidified that. And the entire way down was torture in my own head. I had never experienced that before, ever. I had never experienced such sudden silence in my head that I didn't know what to do with a scary thought. I guess I always felt safe growing up. That it's not like I didn't have scary thoughts growing up, but I guess I just always felt like I was invincible, maybe, mentally. Anyway, that was end of 2021, going into 2022. That's when I started to spiral. After I went to Coffs Harbour and then I came all the way back up home, I, in every sense of the word, spiraled. So bad. So many dark thoughts, so many intrusive thoughts, so much rumination, worrying, anxiety, depression, pummeling my brain that much that it started to affect my work, my job, and that was already happening. My parents decided to sell the house in Rockhampton, and then I had a choice. I could either try and find somewhere to live in Rockhampton and keep my job and not move anywhere, or I could go basically essentially start a new life in Brisbane with my sister and brother-in-law, because they were already situated. I would have to leave my job, go through another interview, find another, or more interviews, find another job. It was this, in any other state of mind, would have been terrifying. But I was so mentally broken at that point. I wanted to escape as far as possible. As far as possible from what I call my previous life. I was going through a mental breakdown, and I was also going through seeing my childhood home being completely emptied of all of our memorabilia, of everything. It's been completely emptied and then sold off, and then I was also leaving it. I was that bad of a state that I was having panic attacks at work. I could not work, and it was debilitating, embarrassing, and upsetting. My cat's bothering me.
Hey buddy, you're not bothering me. You just want some attention.
I don't remember if I made the decision to move to Brisbane or if my parents just made it for me. I think they did. I think my parents and actually my brother-in-law made that decision. He's very mature, very switched on, much older than me, and knew exactly what I needed. So I thank him for that. I quit my job. I went with Mum down to Brisbane, saying goodbye to Rockhampton completely. I moved in with my sister and brother-in-law, and I was not out of the woods, not even close. I was still so mentally numb and broken. I did not know what reality was. I didn't know, and the scariest part of all of this that I still see bouts of today is I didn't know who I was. I'd spent my entire life trying to be other people and reflecting other people that I never learnt how to be myself. That is the biggest core of this entire story. I never learned how or who I was, how to be myself or who I was. Had no idea. And so, lo and behold, when my mind is the quietest it's ever been, the most influenced it's ever been, and I get one bad thought that scares me about myself, that plus an identity crisis is a very, very bad concoction of things. I started to fully believe that I was a horrible person, an absolute terrible human being, and that was it. That's all I had. And no amount of talking to myself, saying everything's going to be okay, other people reassuring me everything's going to be okay and what I'm thinking about is wrong. Nothing. I was that rock bottom. That was my rock bottom. Mum had to leave Brisbane to go back to Coffs Harbour, so I stayed in Brisbane with my sister and brother-in-law, and slowly over the next couple of months, I didn't look for a job. I just took a break, and I slowly sort of got out of it. I discovered skateboarding, and I got really into skateboarding. I don't do it anymore, and I haven't done it in like 2 or 3 years. But back then, that was like the saving grace. That just pulled me out of it, and I guess it was not, I want to be something else to distract myself. It was genuinely, I'm interested in this thing. And I think that's why I managed to get a little bit of strength to actually like start to think for myself again. Okay, I'm renting a house. I need to start paying for it. I don't have any money. I need a job. And I got up and I actually went for an interview. And the rest was history. Extra information about all of this is that during that time, I finally went to therapy, to psychology specifically, a psychologist, not a therapist. I learned about mindfulness, and I learned about what self-awareness is, and I learned about this thing called intrusive thoughts. A lot later on, I learnt that OCD, when it comes to thoughts, is a thing, but I didn't learn that until after I got out of rock bottom. I now know that what I suffered with during that breakdown was intrusive thoughts, unwanted thoughts, but usually a healthy-minded person would have the thought and be like, oh, that's weird, shrug it off. I didn't know how to do that. Never learnt it. I had an absolutely horrible thought. OCD kept it there. It's the thinking that if you do something, or if you actively, outwardly show disgust or like talk against it, you feel like you're doing something, because if you don't react to your intrusive thought or something, it can feel like you're believing it and you're just allowing it to be there, and then you start to believe that you are that person, or at least that's how it would feel when you think about it. And that is terrifying to both me and I'm sure a lot of other people who suffer from this. So essentially what I did was I had the horrible intrusive thought, and I kept it in the top of my mind at all times because of a defense mechanism to be like, well, if I'm constantly aware of it, I can make sure it doesn't happen. When in reality, it just means that you are constantly thinking about this horrible thing. Every moment, every waking moment. The good part about all of this is that obviously I'm not my thoughts. I am not the person I thought I was during those moments, because that's why they made my life a living hell. I didn't want to be what those thoughts were implying. So, I moved to Brisbane, got a job. I've been living in Brisbane. I made friends, good friends. I still have that same job, and it's only been great. I've moved out. I moved out of my sister and brother-in-law's after like maybe a year, I think. And I've been living with a roommate for 3 years. And I've built a life, man. I've built a new life, and it's been phenomenal. It's been great. I still struggle with a lot of things, and I still struggle with that exact thing too. I've been struggling it within just the past month. I had that same thought again, and it got stuck. It's gone now. It's left my system finally, but like a few weeks ago, it was looking pretty scary. Like I might go back to that place I was 4 years ago, and that was scary. But I know better now. I learnt how to cope with those thoughts. I learnt what they are. I learnt why they happen. I learnt what I should do when they occur. And it's not easy. None of it's easy, and it doesn't go away overnight, but I just kept at it, and I trusted myself. I trusted myself to just let go. And it worked, and I'm here now, and I've moved on, and I love life again. So if you've made it to this point of the video, let's get back into how this affects my video making. This is one of the reasons why I feel really uncomfortable speaking in front of a camera now to no one, into a mic. I don't know how. I know how I used to do it and how I used to sound and the persona that I used to put on, but I don't like doing that anymore. I don't like putting that on because it feels fake. Whether it is or not is another argument, but I can't do the intros, like the Benoobly intros and stuff, because it just feels, I wouldn't say cringy, but it definitely was borrowed from a childhood of YouTubers that I grew up watching, and so that's just the personality I fostered. I like what I've done in the past. I like and I'm proud of what I've done, and I thought I was pretty funny. I actually thought like my editing was good, but man, even just starting this video, I felt so uncomfortable. I'm in a flow now, so it's a bit easier. But I'm just thinking right now, I'm not talking to anyone. I'm essentially talking to myself. But then again, that's kind of what journaling is. It's just less outward. You're not talking your thoughts, saying your thoughts, you're just writing them. No one's listening, no one's looking at them, but you're just writing them. So I guess it can be attributed the same way. But the personality, the over-energized personality, the comedian, the jester that I used to be. It's not that I don't want to be that anymore. I would love to be this amazing personality who, not amazing personality, but like this funny guy who plays games and makes people laugh their asses off. I love making people laugh. I love it. And I'm really good at it in person. But to do a video where there's no instant input or instant reaction, and it just feels like I'm faking everything, my entire personality, I'm just faking for the sake of a video. Add to that the fact that I don't feel like playing video games at any point of my life unless someone invites me to, or unless I get in a weird random once per 6 months habit feeling of like playing Minecraft again, or there's this story game that I really want to play, and so I play that for hours straight and then finish it, and I still have that urge to this day. I'm like, man, I should be recording this because I'm actually playing a video game and enjoying it and like laughing at its dialogue and all this stuff. This would be great footage for a video, but I don't know. I also think about the fact that I would like to just be able to enjoy things as they are and not have to document or perform every moment of my life. So, the main thing to take away from that is I completely had to rediscover who I was as a person, what I want, like who I am, what I want, where I want to go in life, what I want to do, my hobbies. And I think part of that 3-year journey has been completely neglecting my YouTube channel because I don't know, I found more hobbies that give me better satisfaction because it feels more authentic, I guess. Doing YouTube videos can maybe feel authentic, but I just don't feel... I feel like if I'm not going to put the same amount of heart into them as I used to, then I don't want to do them at all, which is sad. I still feel sad about that fact, but I can't bring myself to do it. So what have I been doing? Well, I have my music hobby. It's still a hobby at this point, which feels annoying to say because it's basically my entire life at this point. Besides working a 9-to-5 full-time job, having friends, going out, doing other things, watching YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Music is the one thing I always come back to. Always, every second of every day, and I'm always thinking about ideas, art, just any art. I'm constantly doing something creative. It's just none of it has anything to do with making a video. I have 2 artist accounts on Spotify. I've got one called Elisis, and I make metal music. I make a lot of metal music, and I've released 3 albums at this point, and I've already got a map, a plan of like upcoming EPs, albums, and that's what I'm choosing to focus all of my energy on, except not really, because I'm even lazy with music, to be honest. And the other one's just another account, Benjamin Casey, it's my full name. That's just where I make nice, beautiful, or experimental music that isn't metal at all, has no affiliation with metal. I even want to get into some... I've done a couple of soundtracks now for super, super tiny things, but I would love to be able to compose for something and see how I go doing it. Another big thing that I've focused on that's taken all of my mental energy, all of it, all of my time, all of my mental energy for the last 4 years, is improving myself. Discovering who I am and what I like and how to trust myself. I still struggle with that. I still need to talk to a lot of people to validate how I'm feeling or what I should be feeling. I'm way better than what I used to be, but the other thing is learning what's right and what's wrong, but on a much more like structured level. So like I've had a lot of problems at work with just social related stuff, and I focused all my energy on getting that perfect. I focused all my energy on learning how to drop my pride, completely sever my ego, and be self-aware and empathetic completely, almost damagingly, because of how I used to be. So it swung from one side all the way to the other, and so now I'm during that period of 4 years, there was a moment where I swung so far the other way, where I started, like, everyone was walking all over me, and I just had to brunt all of my own emotions. I didn't have any anywhere to put them, but at least, hey, we're all getting along now because I changed who I was for the better, but not in a healthy way. That makes no sense. Essentially, I had to change myself. I had to drop my ego, specifically in the work scenario, at work, because the points that the people were making were 110% correct. It's just, at the time, I did not see it that way. I thought my way was the highway. I thought I was in the right. I thought they were idiots. I didn't. But, man, that was 3 years ago. So we're way beyond that. But looking back on it, with the person I am now, yeah, I was being a wanker. I was being a wanker. I was being shut off, closed-minded. Extremely closed-minded. Lazy, closed-minded, didn't want to do anything. I was not excited about anything. I was extremely negative. This whole time, I've been doing psychology, and I've been seeing my psychologist for 3 years. I did get on medication, but that was at the end of the breakdown, so I needed that medication to help me get up so I could then start learning healthy things. As of now, I am an extremely introspective You know, it's bad when I need ChatGPT to explain who I am. I'm extremely introspective. I spend a lot of time reflecting on emotions, motivations, and whether my actions align with who I want to be. My habits, my reactions. I have a strong sense of fairness and integrity, which is why I haven't wanted to do YouTube videos anymore, because the integrity and authenticity is not there, I feel. There is maybe a way I can go about it where I can have the fun of doing YouTube videos and not feel like I'm faking myself or like faking a personality, but that it still feels like that at the moment to me. So it still feels like I'm not being true to myself. And I know I'm probably taking it too far, but that's just how I feel at the moment. I look for authenticity and integrity in everything. Everyone. And I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. I'm still judgmental. I still jump to conclusions. I'm still emotional. But man, has life been better now that I can actually, navigate it and not do it so much where it damages something. I can do it and then recognize and be aware of it and be like, okay, that wasn't helpful. Let's come back. I am obsessed with emotional depth, sometimes melancholy themes, and meaningful things, like meaningful conversations, meaningful connections. I struggle, and this has to do with the YouTube videos, I struggle with novel fun, like novelty fun, I guess. Or a lot of people, they go out and let's play this, let's do this in the city, let's play this game together, let's do all this. I for some reason, I just can't. I can do those things and actually enjoy them. I can. Now that I'm breaking out of my shell more than ever. But getting me to be there and getting me to agree to do those things, very difficult, because my brain instantly now goes, there's no value in that. I know there is value in that, but my brain has been conditioned from what I've been through to be like, what is the point of life? I want there to be a much more important and bigger point in life than, hey, let's have fun for a few hours doing things that mean nothing. I know that's all bullshit. somewhat bullshit. Like, I know there's a truth to both sides. I know now that I actually love getting in groups of friends and like actually like doing something outside of my house. It is so healthy. It's so much fun. I'm going to a party tonight and I'm looking so forward to it. To see everyone, to laugh, to talk about things. Granted, there are people who also can talk deeply about certain topics. That helps. But I've got friends that can't, and we have a great time. So, I do see the value in it now, but that's just where my brain defaults to still. And it's okay. I know that I'm allowed to be a melancholic, deep, introspective person. I'm allowed to feel emotions. I'm allowed to feel what I feel. As long as I also recognize that there is a lot of value in also just being happy or accepting flaws if they don't hurt anyone. There's a lot of value in having fun, and it doesn't have to mean the world. You can, and ultimately it does just make you happy. But primarily I still love being extremely like deep and introspective and just I don't know. Will I ever get back into making videos? I can't answer that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I tried. I actually made a new channel where it was called something completely different. You didn't even know it was me because I didn't show myself. And I also didn't put on or at least I tried not to put on a personality. I actually did try to approach video making in a way that could fit better with my values. And I think it still might. The videos, I just like rewatched one of them for the first time in like 8 months since I tried it, and it was very boring. It was very boring and like amateurish because I was just being myself. And that sounds bad, but at the time doing the video, it felt natural, I guess, kind of. But it just felt more relaxed and better. But we all know the algorithm doesn't like that. No person who's obsessed with the internet or in that psychological loop of scrolling or watching fast-paced and fast action and colorful and loud videos is gonna watch that. And I'm programmed like that to some extent as well. So I'm a human as well. So like when I watch it, I'm like, okay, that's boring as hell. I get it. So I've tried to make videos that better align with my values, and I can still do that. I don't know if I'm happy to do that, because at the same time, I want to do something that better aligns with my values, but I'm also an avid creative perfectionist. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to do this, I want it to be great. So if I watch it back, I want it to be the same quality and oh my gosh, that's out there. Which is exactly why I said before, I can't do it at all. Because if I can't do it without it being perfect or what I expect it to be, but then it also doesn't align with my values, it's just a no-go, and I have to try and find something else. There might be a way that I haven't explored yet, and maybe one day I'll just shut up and just be like, stop being so over-dramatic about this, get up and actually try to have fun, make people laugh, because that would be the healthy way of going about it. If it's just for to be entertaining and make people laugh, that would work. But there's so many other attributes, like promoting yourself is just, I hate that. I absolutely hate it. You're basically, not all the time, but to me it just feels like begging for attention. Look how funny I am. That does not align with my values. But at the same time, I like being funny. I like making I like crafting a thing that is entertaining for someone. It's just you can't see that expression anywhere when you're doing YouTube videos, and so the only thing you can do is share everything everywhere and just be online and share yourself and constantly promote yourself. So, and I don't like that. I don't like shouting to the world that I'm great and I'm important. Again, not perfect. I do sometimes. With my music, I can be as authentic as I want. I can make anything and I don't have to put my face on it. I don't have to care who listens to it. I have songs that I haven't uploaded, but I still feel satisfied that they exist and that I made them. Hell, the songs that are up right now, all I've done is like shared them on Facebook, and like family and friends would just be like, oh yeah, this is cool. In fact, the last album I shared, besides the listening party we did, that's a new Ben's life kind of thing. But like just online, sharing that album online, 0 interactions. And I'm still human, so it obviously hurt a bit, because that album I spent 4 years on. But at the same time, it's weird. It's like I cared, and I also didn't care, because I completed it, I finished it, and I'm happy with it, so what else matters? But at the same time, the creative in you is just like, well, I want people to experience my art, and blah, 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 blah. It's a weird battle, and it's a very contradictive and hypocritical sort of battle. That's just the nature of life, I guess. So for now, I'm just gonna live my life and try and be my authentic self as much as possible. I'm gonna keep doing music. I love doing music. I love creating things. I love making things. And from time to time, I look back on my videos and I think about them, and I do get excited to jump up and just start recording something. But by the time I get home, by the time I set up everything, I don't feel like being that person anymore, and then it destroys any motivation I had of doing the video. It's a vicious... It's vicious. It's mentally vicious. So, but I'm okay. I am totally 120% okay. Actually. To say I've changed as a person in the last 4 years is such an understatement that I don't even think anything else is truer. Man. I still have default thought patterns from my childhood. I still have default feelings, like I still love recharging when I'm alone, but that's just introversion at this point. The difference is I've been getting out finally and meeting new people and seeing new places, and I've wanted to see those new places. That's the biggest thing. I actually want to go out and see the world for once and be with people. And I know it's maybe for some people that might sound weird, but man, before who I am right now, before this, I wanted nothing but just to escape and be by myself. No one listens to you, no one tells you who to be, no one expects you to be anything. So it's easy. It's extremely easy. But it's still a little hard to see for me, like, the greater benefits of getting out, but I do know that it is healthier, and it's also way different to who I used to be, but it feels good to get out, see new things, go places, and experience them, and experience them with people, with friends. And I've done that, and I've done that so many times now, and I've done it successfully, that I actively am looking for opportunities to bring a friend along to what I would usually do by myself. It's huge. It's huge for me. It really is. So I guess this is me signing off. I'm not sure if I'll be back, but if anyone has watched this who doesn't know me or anything, if for some reason this gets caught on the algorithm, I doubt it, but because it's talking about pretty deep topics and stuff and my own experience. Hello, and please just hang in there. I don't want this to turn into like a it'll be okay kind of video, but man, I made it out. And I'm not out. I'm just better. A lot better. I'm above water, but I'm still floating. I'm not drowning, but I'm also not out of the water. I'm just floating. And that's all we really need to be. Because at that point you're not spiraling into anywhere negative. But I also think it's not great to be completely devoid of negative emotions and negative thoughts, and because that's what makes us human, and that's also what gives us the clarity to tell how valuable positive emotions are and positive experiences are. So I don't think... Anyway. I don't know you personally, I don't know your story, I don't know who you actually are, but for the people who are really not doing well right now, you will just hang in there. Just keep living. Just like JKL said in SpongeBob, The Big Wave, just keep breathing. That's what I did. That's literally what I did. I just kept breathing. You just keep breathing. Just keep breathing. Something will happen. I don't know what, I don't know when, and I can't promise that anything will happen, but if you keep your head above that water, I'd like to think eventually you'll find yourself on top of what was dragging you under for so long. So, thus concludes the most deep, weirdest, most personal video of this entire channel. I have the urge to do the typical YouTuber sign-off, but I'm not going to because it means nothing in this context. So, yeah, see ya.